everyone, welcome to a special edition of the Anglers Channel Bass Wrap-Up Show, sponsored by Sportsman's Warehouse. We're coming to you from Orlando, Florida, the site of the 2021 ICAST show. And for those of you who have never been to an ICAST show, this is where all the latest and greatest new fishing products are introduced to all of us to share with you all. So we're going to do exactly that as our entire team from Anglers Channel is here on the floor in Orlando. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Anglers Channel Bass Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. We're standing here at the 2021 ICAST show in Orlando, where we're going to showcase to you the latest and greatest technology in the world of fishing. All the great companies are here with all their new products to show us some of the latest and greatest. We're going to hand it off to our own Vance McCullough.
Folks, we're here, you're here with us. ICAST 2021 and the Humminbird booth with very special guest, 2017 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Brandon Pollinick. Brandon, 2021's been a good year for you as well, on and off the water.
It has, yeah. We've finished up our year third in the AOY points. Most importantly, I got married. Finally. I'll say it before someone else says it, finally. But it's been an awesome year. A lot of it on the water due to the Humminbird technology that we have.
Well, you got married. I'm not going to say Humminbird will help you catch a wife, but it will help you catch fish, and that's almost as good.
It is.
Talk to me about your mindset to target specifically better grade, tournament grade bass using your electronics.
Really, the biggest thing is that bass are oftentimes school-oriented they're school-oriented fish. But the big thing is that the largest fish in a body of water are oftentimes single or paired up fish, and they live on more isolated targets, stuff that doesn't get as much pressure from anglers. And as we have more anglers fish, the more and more this stuff becomes important. And one of the biggest technologies that I use for this is my Mega 360. And the reason for that is that it allows me to go down the bank and fish what I consider the dead zone. Like, it's a little bit shallower than what guys will use their side imaging for, and it's deeper than what the guys fishing the bank and the target oriented guys are fishing. So it allows me to see those isolated pieces of structure underwater that I can't see with my eyeballs, and oftentimes it actually allows me to even be able to see the fish sitting on that structure. And so I'm able to know exactly where I need to throw. It allows me to really be able to see how those fish are moving around using that structure, and especially the bigger ones.
Well, folks, that's some good how-to bass fishing knowledge. Going to put more fish in your boat. We'll be back with more such knowledge and innovation from ICAST. Stick around.
The world's largest sport fishing trade show, ICAST, is the premier showcase for the latest innovations in fishing gear, accessories, and apparel. And we're here to bring you a glimpse of the latest gear you'll want to know about. While we're here in Vance's neck of the woods, he takes us on a kayak trip to Fells Mere Reservoir here in Central Florida. The TNT High School Anglers crown a world champion. We have details, plus Andy Montgomery lets you decide. Is he a genius or not so much? You won't want to miss this segment. That and much more coming your way.
The Anglers Channel Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Sportsman's Warehouse. This portion of our program is brought to you by Strike King Lose. Go ahead, tie one on. By Ranger Boats, quality redefined, performance reimagined. And powered by Mercury. Do more of what you love on the water.
From bass and walleye to crappie and the great outdoors, you deserve more than old school aluminum. Reward yourself with the quality, performance, and extra room in a Ranger aluminum design. Packed with features, these rigs carry an ultra-smooth dry ride and stable platforms. Experience a Ranger aluminum boat today. It's built to excel and priced to be yours. Mercury, go boldly.
Welcome back, everyone. We're on the floor of the 2021 ICAST show. Partner in crime, Chris Brown's with us. Chris, every year it seems like fishing is growing, and when you come to this show, you see why it's growing, because everybody's coming up with new products.
It's an incredible place to be for 3 days if you're a fishing nut like we are.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, the big difference is 15 years ago when I started coming to this show, there weren't as many young people as there are here. We see a lot of young anglers walking around the show. That's collegiate anglers and high school anglers. And speaking of high school anglers, we have the TNT High School Championship going on.
World Finals.
World Finals going on right now. We've got a report on that, don't we?
We do.
Hey friends, we are here at Lake Hartwell for the TBF High School World Finals, and we are with Randy Sullivan, the National Tournament Director. He's going to explain the last 4 days in the format for us.
So what we're doing here is our Student Angler Federation program, which is operated by the Bass Federation, the TBF. We have gotten together a youth program for the kids now that is basically a stepping stone to when they become adults. So what TBF does is we partner with Major League Fishing, and they run about 14 or 15 open tournaments each year on their schedule to qualify kids to go to the national championship. We run, from the Student Angler Federation side, we run about 40 events a year, one in each state, for a state championship. And so we take the top 10% of the teams and send them to the national championship. So if there's 50 teams at a South Carolina event, we qualify 10%, 5 of those teams get to go. Well, the other 45 didn't make it. So the open events that MLF does is that gives anybody from any state can come and participate and try to make it to the national championship again. So that gives them 2 opportunities. Well, let's say they don't make that. So now they've had 2 opportunities to make the national championship, and they hadn't done it, and they think, oh, I'm finished. I don't get to go anywhere this year and fish on a big format or big stage or whatever. So we created the World Finals part and put them together so that if they don't make the national championship, all they have to do is be active Student Angler Federation members, pay one $25 membership fee per kid, and they can come and fish in the World Finals, and everybody can come. It's an open part of the event. Everybody from every state, if they're an SAF member, can come and participate in the World Finals.
This lake has been very diverse lately, especially this time of the year with it being so hot, and you know the fish are extremely scattered right now. A lot of guys will be fishing docks, they'll be skipping docks, main lake point docks, or I've seen a lot of guys like the first and second place leaders for the national championship. They were actually fishing what were called cane piles. So they're little piles of bamboo that we have here, and they'll set them out on shoals and stuff. And what all these guys were doing is they're throwing over a little Seville Magic swimmer, and they're burning it across the top of it, just hoping these schooling fish see that flash, and they'll end up coming up and they'll eat it.
We are ready to get weigh-in started here, and look at all of these prizes that the kids will get to take home. Mini fridges, laptops, Nintendo Switch, coolers, a trolling motor, Lowrance units, Humminbird units, TVs, kayaks, and a big giant trophy.
We're going to be going down to Georgia from the Madison County Red Raiders. Please welcome to the stage Will Hart and Logan Fisher. Limited fish. 3.7. Anything bigger than 3.7 in there? Yes, sir. Is there one bigger than 3.7 or 2 of them bigger than 3.7? Might be all of them bigger than 3.7. That's somebody with some confidence right there. 10 pounds even. 10 pounds even takes the lead. All right. Let's see what we got here. Anything bigger than 3.12 for a big fish? Yes, sir. Most definitely. That sounded like a I'm almost positive. Total weight for you guys, because you're our new leaders. 10 pounds, 9 ounces. 10, 9. Dylan? Dylan is Mr. Lucky Dog here. He was our winner last night. He was drawn out to be back in the event. Got up here, started to practice. Angler got sick, had to go home, and had to go this alone and do this by yourself, fishing with an observer. So, who volunteered to be your boat? Who volunteered to be your observer?
My mother.
That's pretty good special observer right there to go out, sit in a boat for 4 days and can't fish. So, all right. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask you to step right over there, guys. I'm going to get you to stand right up here, and we're going to bring Dylan's fish up here to the scales. We're fixing to crown a champion. No peeking. Come on now. Here we go. For Dylan McGee. Final weight. 2 pounds, 10 ounces. Andrew Carson, national champion. World Finals champion. Man, guys, World Finals champions. Congratulations on that.
Coming up, Strike King Lose Pro Andy Montgomery asks a question, genius or not? And we'll do a little kayak fishing as well and explore the wildlife on Headwaters Lake in Central Florida. That and much more is headed your way.
The AnglersChannel Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Sportsman's Warehouse. This portion of the program is brought to you by Costa Del Mar, eyewear for anglers, by Pro Charging Systems. The future of marine charging is here. By Trick Step, by Under Armour, and by X-Zone Lures, tournament-proven products.
I feel like ISO Chill definitely allows me to stay on the water longer. When you talk about 14-hour days of practice on the water, that's a long time. And most people are gonna come up with an excuse to get off, and I don't feel like I get that same fatigue, and a lot of that benefit comes from what I'm wearing. Sun protection, breathability, comfort, ISO Chill, honestly, it just helps me be more competitive and stay on the water longer.
Welcome back to the AnglersChannel Bass Wrap-Up. We're at the Lose booth. Guess who we got here?
Hey man, good to see you guys. So, man,
Let us know what do we have here?
Always have something new here at Lose. So, I mean, last year I introduced my whole KVD Signature Series, and you know, even as successful as that was, and it was just yesterday, it seems like that we launched it. We're already starting to work on newer and better things. So the team here at Lose came to us, our fishing team, me, Andy Montgomery, Mark Zona, and Greg Hackney, and said, man, we want to do a signature series of rods of your favorite actions and techniques that you like to fish a lot. So I said, man, what do I get to pick? He said, well, we can do 4. So I've got a 610 jerkbait rod. I've got a 7-foot target rod that's basically for throwing spinner baits and things like that around bushes and cover. I've got a 7-foot topwater rod. It's got a little softer tip, perfect for, you know, sexy dogs and poppers and things like that. And then I also got a 7-foot composite cranking rod, what I love to throw my square bills, red eye shads, and things like that on. So all of them have, you know, wind grip handles, really high-end components. You know, it's a really top-notch quality rod, and they're all under $200. So, you know, Hackney has some flipping rods and frogging rods. Andy Montgomery's got skipping rods. Zona has spinning rods for smallmouth and that. So if you're looking for a great rod at a great value, check out the new Signature Series of Lose from our pro staff's favorite rods and actions.
AnglersChannel's own Vance McCullough, a native Floridian, always likes to give us a good adventure in a kayak. Vance, take it away.
Folks, we're here on Headwaters Lake, locally known as Fellsmere Reservoir. It's a world-class fishery, the newest, greatest lake on the planet. FWC is taking great pains to make sure it is a world-class fishery. There's lots of structure, man-made, down on the south end. We're up here on the north end where the kayak guys tend to fish a lot because the kayak ramp is right here. And it has a little more color, a little more stain. It's just an old flooded cow pasture. The fish tend to spread out more, but they live here too. Let's go fishing. can't really use a pedal drive or trolling motor and such thick hydrilla as we get on this lake this time of year. But the water's way up, which should present some good topwater opportunities. One thing's for sure, Headwaters Lake near Fellsmere, Florida is one of the prettiest places to catch a fish or not. The locals call this area Jurassic Park, mostly because of the 14-foot alligators that inhabit the region. But there's also ancient fish like mudfish and gar, and even the plants are prehistoric looking here. I mean, these lily pads are the size of trash can lids. Well, there was nothing doing back in the really shallow heavy cover, so I'm explaining to Kenny how I'm going to attack the deeper water along the edge of this canal where the hydrilla is somewhat patchy but staged up pretty well on a pretty firm wall, and the fish should be positioned predictably. I fell into a little groove with that lipless crankbait, caught several good fish on it. Not really the size I was looking for, but man, the little fish came out to play. Cameraman Kenny Kerno focused on this gator right here. I want you to take a look at what pops up between us and the gator in the frame, right basically in the wake of my kayak as I leave this spot. See that little head? Watch, he's going to pop up again right along in here. There we go. That, folks, is a 3 to 4 foot water moccasin who was out there hanging around with me the whole time. I had no idea. You are out there in and amongst God's creatures when you're on a wild Florida lake like Headwaters. And finally, I found some of the kind of fish that you come down here to Headwaters Lake for. I got on a buzzbait bite. Those bigger fish wanted the topwater lure, and boy, I gave them one. That's a little more like it. Well, that's a wrap from Headwaters Lake. Not the best day. A lot of fish weren't biting really well, but even here, a bad day is still pretty good. I probably caught a couple limits, and you get a chance to come down here to Headwaters Lake near Fellsmere, make the trip.
The AnglersChannel Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Sportsman's Warehouse. This portion sponsored by TH Marine, by Humminbird Minn Kota, by Visit Anderson, South Carolina, and by Rely on Lithium Marine Batteries.
Hey guys, back to AnglersChannel Bass Wrap-Up, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. I'm Chris Brown. My buddy David Zhang here on the floor at ICAST. David, we've been here a couple of days. You've seen a lot more new product stuff than I have. Tell us a little bit about a couple things you've seen that have really impressed you.
First off is the Humminbird Gen 4 Helix 7. Okay. You can run 360 on it.
Oh, wow.
Smaller unit, and it's got programmable buttons. Oh, wait, by the way, dual card slot now too. So if you're looking to, especially for the guys that have smaller boats or want a smaller footprint for running that 360 unit up front, really great unit.
So the smaller footprint, great for 10 boats, kayaks, a lot of different things, and with 360 just add a bonus.
Yeah, and like I said, it's, again, especially if you're unsure about it and you're looking for a more price-friendly option for 360, way to go.
That's a great entry level to get in there. All right, so that was electronics. What else have you seen that you got excited about?
The new Untangled series of glasses from Costa.
That's the stuff that's recycled from fishing nets, right?
Yes, it is, and they've expanded on it from the previous collection, but I mean, those frames look good on almost anybody, especially me.
Well, then they gotta be sexy then, right?
Yeah, they're really sexy. So, I mean, you gotta grab them. Conservation, I mean, that's the big thing, made from recycled nets, and we gotta do what we can to protect our waters here. So.
We really do. We see conservation a lot here on the saltwater side, but here more recently with Costa and some others, we're seeing that footfall over into the freshwater side. You guys look for more of that coming up from us here at AnglersChannel.com. All right, guys, let's head over to Strike King Lewis Pro Andy Montgomery and find out if he's a genius or not.
All right, if you like me, one of the biggest struggles in fishing for me personally was tackle management, tackle organization. There's so many Strike King products that I want to carry with me. How do I pack them all in my boat, and how do I keep them organized? Well, I came up with something that some people have called me a genius and some people have called me an idiot. They just have. They said, that is dumbest thing I ever seen. Some people say that is genius. This is how I keep my hard baits. Check that out. Now, before I open this, I'm gonna say this is probably 15 or 20 Plano boxes in this one bag. Look at that. All in Ziploc bags, no hooks. So I take all of my hooks off. This is the idiot versus genius part we're gonna go into. I take all of my hooks off. Look at all of them red eyes. Anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4, hard knock, silence. I got them all in this one Ziploc bag. And I just got, look at jerk baits. Deep jerk baits, little jerk baits, all the KVD jerk baits and different jerk baits you can imagine are all in that little Ziploc bag. A Series 3 is one of my favorites. Look, just a little quart bag. That's a whole Plano box right there, tucked in neat. And you say, well, wait a minute. You ain't got no hooks on. So now you got to put hooks on. But think about it. Now, this is my line of thinking. When I get a treble hook bait out of a box, 90% of the time I'm having to untangle that joker. So that takes time. I'm untangling it, trying to get the treble hooks off. And then I get it off, and then what? Well, I'm in a tournament situation. I look at the hooks, and they're old. I'm like, well, I'm going to put new hooks on. So I got to take them hooks off. I got to put new hooks on. So to me, doing it this way actually saves me time. I do not have to untangle treble hooks. I can go straight in one of these bags, get the exact bait that I need. I go right here. I don't have to take the treble hooks off of this bait and then put new ones on. Nope. I get the bait out, I get my treble hooks out here, I put them on, and to me, I know it saves me time doing it this way by go ahead and removing all of my treble hooks. It saves me time, it saves me space in my boat, and now I don't have to make a decision on what I can carry. I carry everything and I'm ready for any situation. So now it's your turn to decide if you think I'm an idiot or if you think I'm a genius. Please, please lean towards the genius side.
Okay, folks, so tell us what you think about Andy Montgomery and his
Genius or not?
Genius or not at info@anglerschannel.com. And don't forget, any of the latest and greatest techniques, products, tournaments, you name it, when it comes to bass fishing, tournament resource, we're your #1 stop, and that's AnglersChannel.com. And Chris, as we wrap it up from the 2021 ICAST show here in Orlando, another great show. As we said earlier, you see a lot of youth coming into this space, which is exciting for the future, but so is the technology. It's unbelievable.
A lot of cool stuff coming. You guys make sure you check out the Anglers Channel Extra on our website and the YouTube, and also check out the Anglers Channel Insider podcast each week. We'll have a lot of new stuff coming for you guys. Check out.
Yeah, that's right. Chris and his team have great interviews each and every week on that podcast. It's worth your time, buddy. Enjoyed the show. Enjoyed the week. Folks, be safe on the water. We'll see you next week.